Hey, welcome everyone to Story Trading. Man, do we have an exciting, comprehensive special weekly meetup line for you tonight because of what's going on in Ukraine. It just so happened we had a lot of stocks we wanted to have updates on with either recent catalysts or upcoming catalysts. So we already had all those pre-scheduled and we don't want to cancel that. So we're doing a special 2-hour edition. Where after we do the regular stocks, we'll jump into what's going on with Ukraine. So quick disclaimer, Story Trading is not an investment advisor. That goes also for all of our speakers and our guests. Investing in securities involves significant risk of loss. If you're watching this on social media, what is a story trading? Story trading is the practice of understanding market pricing through the lens of our 4 pillars: fundamentals, catalyst, sentiment, and technicals. We collaborate as a community on WhatsApp and on Zoom, and we are building our own app. You can sign up for that or to be part of our WhatsApp community over at StoryTrading.com. We have lots of what we call VIP picks. These are stocks that are presented on Zoom at our weekly meetups on Sunday night. So you can head over to StoryTrading.com and see all those stocks we've presented in the past with links to the YouTube recording. So as we said tonight, the topic, we'll do an update on some key VIP picks. Then we'll have that special extended session on what's going on in Ukraine and how we can benefit monetarily from that. So with the events over the weekend, I no longer think this is just trading volatility, which some of us have been trying to do, and hedging and things like that in our trade room. I think at this point, this is not just noise and short-term volatility, but there is an opportunity here. And that opportunity is based on this. I believe a line has been crossed with what's going on in Russia and the threat of nukes. I think the world has been changed forever, and sentiment will try and foresee longer term fundamental changes in multiple sectors. So here are a few ideas we'll be talking about. I think these can be powerful trend trades for many months or quarters, maybe even years, a long-term shift, maybe lasting as long as the COVID trade or more. So we're talking about reduced dependence on Russia. We're going to be seeing defense spending maybe going up, fears of nuclear war, something new to our generation, which may be something that may spark some trade ideas, and we'll do some brainstorming. And with that, we're going to move on to this all on YouTube. So just going back to that original slide on Russia-Ukraine war impact. So just a rehash of this, that I think there is a long-term play over here, not just a trade, right? I think reduced dependency on Russia. For me, it was Saturday. What happened Saturday was very, very important. What happened Saturday was you saw a couple of about faces on the international stage. You saw Germany saying we're going to commit weapons where before they didn't want to. You saw countries saying we're going to block Russia from SWIFT. Now, so far, it's excluding energy, right? But you can see for yourself, if you're watching the news, if you're looking at Twitter, you're seeing like a worldwide effort to of this cancel culture almost, right? It's amazing what's going on. And I think it's very clear. And you already see, I think Germany just said today that they're going to ramp up nuclear energy. They're already changing their policy on things like that. They wanted to phase out nuclear, and now they're not going to phase out nuclear anymore. I think there have been comments by a lot of countries about energy independence in terms of oil and natural gas to try to ramp up domestic production of those to whatever extent they can, or get it from other sources. So I think this is something that is a real fundamental shift that's going to basically last forever. The shock of Russia suggesting even the smallest possibility that nuclear weapons could be used, I think will not be forgotten by anyone. I think this is a huge moment in history for me. I'm like 45 years old and I've never experienced this in my lifetime. I've heard about the days when school children in America had to, in the Cold War, had to do their drills and hide under their desks and stuff like that. And, I think we've kind of entered a new, a paradigm shift that we're not going to move back from. This is my own analysis on it. So I think that there's probably going to be a lot of trades, a lot of companies that we can find to make money based on this theme of reduced dependence on Russia. Again, defense, which we talked about with Mark, TPCS. Nuclear warfares, maybe there's some trade ideas on that, and we'll do some brainstorming. So let's dig into it a little bit. So reduce dependence on Russia. Obviously, energy, the big one everyone knows about, right? But then there's also potash. Matt in our community mentioned that Russia is a big exporter of potash. He very early on identified IPI when it still hadn't moved to be a play to go into if Russia invades Ukraine. Some of us did that. I'm in the trade. IPI is up 15% and near a 52-week high. It's a great looking chart, by the way. We can maybe pull that up later. So you can see that this kind of trade is already working. And at this point, it's just sentiment, right? But that sentiment can turn into better fundamentals longer term. Then we have metals, neon, palladium, platinum, wheat. I didn't know this. I was just doing some Google searches before this meeting. 25% of global exports from Russia and Ukraine, so there's concern of higher food costs. The other thing that we may want to look at is to avoid, I don't like shorting, but avoid companies possibly with extensive reliance on Russia. If there are publicly traded US companies, let's say, I don't know, have their entire IT team out of Russia, something like that, or they get all of their raw materials from Russia. I mean, that's not going to be good news for these companies. So, maybe you should be aware of that for companies that you own. Let me see, there's a chat message in here. Belarus. Oh, thank you, Matt. That's for potash. Yeah, Belarus is basically an ally of Russia, so it is the same impact. There are sanctions going with Belarus all day today because I guess they're officially going to be entering that war tomorrow, it seems. All right. So let me just go through the rest of these slides and then we'll open it up for discussion. So then defense, we talked about the military spending, but we didn't talk about cybersecurity. There's a lot of chatter with the fintech influencers last week on cybersecurity and a few names possibly there that will be good in case this kind of spirals into some sort of cyber war between America and Russia, which is very possible, I think. Nuclear warfare, as we talked about, like maybe there's some microcap companies out there. They, underground bunkers, guns, things like that. Lots of potential plays there. So with that, I'm gonna stop my share